um, oh, thank you. Good. I know we're trying to record this so others can watch it asynchronously. But we did have a group of students come here during the University of Utah's fall break, and it went marvelously well. And it makes us quite optimistic for what we're going to be able to do this upcoming summer. So just a little bit about our team. As I noted earlier, we are with the Center for Business, Health, and Prosperity. It's a new university center that was established in January of this year. It's housed in the David Eccles School of Business, and that has been a very good home for us. We have a connection with Ensign Global College in Ghana. It's a beautiful campus. We'll have a chance to see a photo of it here in a few slides. One of the open, if you are online, we'll ask that you try to mute yourself because we are getting some background noise.
You're ready. Okay, let me listen.
I may see, Annie, if you're running the host, I think you can also mute people, and then we'll just make sure nobody has interference coming in. So one of the things that really distinguishes us is we are not about drop-in programs that we go and we do something and we leave, but instead we're looking at long-term and sustainable solutions in all the work that we do. My philosophy has always been, and I have a great team that supports this as well, that when we have student programs like this, we don't want to create opportunities that are good for students. We want to connect students with the good work that we're doing. And so that's the nature of what we will be experiencing in this Global Leaders Program. We look at partnerships. We look at connections. And sorry, once again, if you're just joining and or if you're not on mute, if you could please mute yourself unless you're talking, that will make sure that everybody can hear the information that's being provided. We are focused on mutually beneficial partnerships, and we look to create capacity. We look to join with our colleagues, partners, and friends around the world to find ways to help build capacity and get away from this cycle of dependency where we're sort of looking to go in and do something for somebody or to somebody. Instead, we want to work with people around the world. Our team has decades and decades of running student programs. We've in fact, just in the country of Ghana, we've run programs where we've had hundreds of students that have come with us and had terrific experiences. We are incredibly conscious about safety. We're incredibly conscious about being good partners to our friends here in Ghana. And we're incredibly conscious about making sure that it's an exceptional experience. We are engaged in what we think of as active and experiential learning. This isn't being told about good things. This is actually getting to understand the nature of the programs that we're working on and then getting to be a part of it. And for our participants, we want each participant to understand the bigger scope of what we're doing and to understand how their piece fits in to something that is long-term and very worthwhile. We really look to be mentors. We want to have a mentorship model in what we're doing. We have, as Jill mentioned, she'll be our team lead on this. I'll be here working with the groups as well. We have terrific partners here. We will have other collaborators here, and together we look to build each other through this process. And finally, this is about global citizenship. It's about understanding and connecting with people who live in a very different place where we live, and finding ways to have meaningful connections. And again, I'll just note, if you are just joining us, if we could have you mute your phone or your computer, that will help to reduce the background noise. We're just going to show a brief video here. The video sometimes when we go over Zoom is a little bit choppy. But we think you'll get the gist of our experience. This was put together from video clips from students from one of our recent trips. So I'll stop talking so you can see. So that gives just a preview of the sort of thing that we're going to be experienced during this program. And not only is it as good as what that video makes it seem, it's actually better. We are looking at our itinerary, trying to get dates, and this is just helpful as many of you will be deciding if this works with the many other things you may have going this upcoming summer. We're looking to depart on the 4th of June. And we always try to align that pretty close to the end of the school year for most students. We're planning on being in Ghana and experiencing the communities of Cape Coast, of course, Accra, the capital city, Pong, which is where our campus is located, Kumasi and Tamale. We'll be there from the 5th through the 23rd. On the 24th, this is a new feature this year, and with our connections with the University of Oxford, we're quite excited that this will be part of what we're doing. But we'll depart for London, and we'll plan on being in the United Kingdom from the 24th to the 29th. We're based out of the University of Oxford, and we'll spend time both there and in London. And then finally, our plan is to arrive back in Salt Lake City on June 30th, so that we know many families are trying to have holidays during the month of July and other activities. And so our goal is to be back by the end of the month, and so that our 4 weeks will be concluded then. I will note as we're talking about these items, if you have questions as we're going along, please feel free to use the chat feature in this Zoom program. If we can address the questions as we go along, we will. If not, we'll get to those at the end of the session. As noted, as asterisk below, those are the anticipated dates. As we get a little closer, we'll fine tune those, but it will be something quite similar to that if it's not exactly those dates. This gives you a sense of our home base. This is actually where I am. I'm in the back corner of the campus right now at my home, and this is the Ensign Global Campus. The body of water behind us is the Volta River. It's quite a famous river, and just above us is the Volta Hydroelectric Dam. But we sit on 50 acres right on the edge of the Volta River, And the first 16 of that we've developed. As far as housing, this is where the students participating will be housed in the upper left-hand corner. That's our student housing. And we have a wonderful campus. It's safe. It's secure. We have electricity and backup electricity. We have our own water system, our own sanitation system. As you can see, pretty good internet where we're connected to the broadband line here in Ghana. And many of the comforts that I think will make the trip enjoyable and allow us to concentrate on the things we're really there to do. We also have our own culinary team who takes very good care of us while we're here. You can see to the right the map of Ghana, and you can see with the pin, this is where we're located. We're just outside of the capital city of Accra. It's about an hour from the airport when the traffic is light, and anywhere from a little to a lot longer, depending on the time of day that we move from the airport in Accra up to Pong. You can also see on the coast, the city of Cape Coast, and actually Elmina, which is near Cape Coast, where we'll spend time. And then in the upper part of the country, you'll see Mole National Park. It's one of the national parks in green, and it's just over from the city Tamale, which is to the north. And that's where we'll also be spending time during the excursion. Kumasi in the middle of the country is another location we anticipate spending some time as part of our experience. Okay, Jill, we'll go to the next slide. It looks like it's given us a little bit of a struggle here. Our student experience is really about understanding and experience. And so our goal is that students will learn things like innovation and entrepreneurship and how it applies in emerging markets, such as what we're experiencing here in Ghana. Ghana is a really interesting country to spend time in, particularly at this time. In 2019, it was rated as the fastest growing economy in the world. It's a place where there are great contrasts. There are still some of the traditional ways of living mixed with very modern ways of living. There are people who live in poverty and people who live quite comfortably, a growing middle class. And so we get to see a range of living conditions, a range of economic conditions, and we get to meet many people from those various communities. We also are focused on leadership development, and we'll be spending time with that to help students acquire leadership skills while they're taking part in this experience. Our goal is that everybody comes back with a better sense of where they sit in the world and a better sense of how they can help lift the world as we move forward. As I noted before, we're very much about working with, not doing things to or for. And so community engagement is a big part of it. We have long-term partners here who we've worked with and have developed relationships that are helping us to shape the country together. We're doing very important things. And as part of that cultural or that community connection, we also get a chance to see authentic culture and to do things that really you don't get to do in typical tourist scenarios, but because of the work we're doing and the long-term partnerships we've established, there will be a chance to both see and as well experience what it's like to live in Ghana authentically. And so we're quite excited about that part as well. As an example, as we look at innovation and entrepreneurship, and this is our good friend, Dr. Philip Kwaku, who's part of the Akosombo Textile Mills in a really innovative program where they're working to transform that industry in Ghana, and we'll spend time with Philip and his team and see the textile industry as it's growing and developing, and maybe have a chance to do some projects with him. But we are looking at strategic international development. We will have a chance to interface with the Skoll Center for Social Entrepreneurship at the University of Oxford. We are working as a center on programs with our partner institutions like Oxford called Map the System, where we're looking at systems thinking and how do we change the way things are done, not just do spot changes or solutions that may be one time and limited, but how do we change the way things are done as a way to promote prosperity? How do we engage with local and global entrepreneurs and support them in their undertakings as they create value in economies that could be translated into improved health and living conditions? As part of this, we will have optional credit for a course called Entrepreneurship 1010, which is the David Eccles School of Business, University of Utah course. And we'll talk about that in a moment, but that we're getting that at quite a bargain. We'll talk about the fees for that in a moment. As part of our leadership development, we'll have project work. We'll have presentation skills. We'll have networking. We'll work on skill strengths. And Jill, I'll let you jump in here and just give us some of the details of your insights on how this will be pulled together.
Yes, thank you. So I think this is just a really important part for students' experience is to get some time away from normal school to really see where their strengths lie, maybe even identify some of their weaknesses and figure out how to balance those. Through their project work, we really mentor them, but we really expect them to take the lead and know how to work as a group. At the end of that project, they're going to be presenting to our local partners and just really have an experience to really hone on those skills that are going to take them to the next level in their academic development.
Great, thank you, Jill. And so this is an example of one of our projects. We're working on how to develop systems for extending health services to communities that typically have not been connected to the health system. One of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, number 3, is focused on health and well-being, and 3.8 focuses on the target is focused on how do we ensure that people have access to basic health services. And this is a system that we've been working on for some time that has developed an approach that allows that to happen. Now, there's a lot of work that we still need to do to understand how to make this work. And so our students this summer will likely be working on a project, either this project or something quite similar, where they will learn about the reasons why health services have not reached many of these communities. We'll talk about the principles of engagement that come along with projects like this. And we'll ask the students to play a role in the work that needs to be done in order for us to see things like this move forward. But we're very committed to having hands-on, real-world, authentic experiences that are truly going to have an impact, not anything that sort of is done as a busy exercise. Jill, do you mind just covering some of the things we'll do with cultural immersion?
Sure. So we think just a feature of our program that you're not going to get in a lot of programs is we think we offer a really, truly authentic experience. So not only students learning about our projects or learning about entrepreneurship, they're taking on projects, but we really immerse them in the local culture. So we'll be exploring Ghanaian history, we'll be visiting the Elmina Slave Castle, we'll go to the Kwame Nkrumah Park and learn about this young country and their independence. We'll have the opportunity to visit several national parks. Students also love going to the local markets and engaging with just local people and seeing how everyday life operates in a place in Ghana in West Africa. We think it's also part of culture immersion is experiencing food. So not only are we going to be tasting the food, but our wonderful culinary team will be showing us how we make those dishes and have the students participate because it really is an art. You'll see in this picture, students got the opportunity to hang out with some other high school students. And there they learned how to drum, they got to do some dancing, they learned how to play some games. And we really think that those one-on-one connections with local students their same age just really make for a meaningful experience. I think you'll see when we get to photos of elephants and warthogs, which are just phenomenal. But when we get back, it's the students, it's their experience with local people and these interactions that really make the trip. And then they'll also get an opportunity to have some custom clothes sewn from beautiful African fabric that our partner Philip makes, and learn how they make beads and the history of beads in Ghana. So all of these together just make for a really rich experience.
Okay, just set by my person, but it's okay. You don't need to. But Daddy's gonna see all the doors.
And then, as you know, these are a sort of a sampling of type of excursions and experiences that we'll be engaging in over the course of the program, and it is quite extensive. We're able to do quite a lot. We have been at this a long time and have been developing the program each year, where we hope it's better than the last. We think we've done that again. But you see in Ghana where we have, going to the Elmina slave castles and doing the canopy walk in Kakum. You did see that in the video, looking at the Volta Dam and understanding how hydroelectric power and the dam was a symbol of the independence movement. Being amongst the elephants in Mole National Park, and on and on and on. So you see a really rich set of excursions in Ghana, and then the sorts of things that we'll be doing in Oxford City, as well as in London, where we'll have a chance to really delve deep into that country, and we'll be able to explore, after we've had this experience in Ghana, we'll be able to explore some of the ways in which other parts of the world developed and emerged, and look at that as a comparison to what Ghana is now doing and what it may experience in the future, as well as helping us to get a sense of the place we have in the United States as part of the global community, and the place we have as individuals, as global citizens. So you can see there's a combination of some things that are enjoyable, some things that seem educational. I will tell you, every single one of them is highly educational, and we try to make every single one of them enjoyable to make the most of the experience. Jill, maybe you could highlight a few of the things that we'll be adding this year from previous years, and I think really to help us see what we have that's in store for this summer.
Yes, so in addition to just really exploring most of the country of Ghana, you'll see that this edition of the University of Oxford and London will be spending a couple days or more in each location. So when we're at the University of Oxford, they have a lovely walking tour. We'll be meeting with individuals from the Green Templeton College, the School Center for Social Entrepreneurship, the Saïd Business School, as well as just exploring all of these amazing educational facilities at the University of Oxford. I mean, this is the center of the academic world. So as your students are getting ready to launch into their next phase or think about what they want to do after high school, we just think this immersion, this rich educational culture will really help them make some decisions about what they want to do and where they want to go. So have an opportunity to, just think about that interplay too between, the British and the Ghanaian system, and how, Ghana was under British rule until, very recently, only like 60 years. So how did that influence Ghana as well? So as you can see from this list, we're going to be busy. We will be going nonstop, and we will have just a great time, and they will be in bed every night tired, but it's going to be a great time.
Thanks, Jill. So now, having said all of that, let's go back to safety. Safety is our #1 concern. We are very, very careful on these programs. And of course, the likelihood that we still will be wrestling with the COVID-19 pandemic, we will be taking precautions to ensure that we keep the risk as minimal as possible, not only for that, but other potential risks as well. I'll note, I led public health at the University of Utah for about a decade, have been a professor in public health there for 25 years, have done these programs for some time. Jill has done these programs as well. So we've got a great team that's leading. We also had the chance to spend, I think, more time than we would have liked on COVID-19 response and in the United States. And so we have deep understanding of the pandemic as well as general travel, travel related
It smells bad.
issues. And so we'll be doing quite a bit to create a safe setting for the students throughout the entirety of the program, and that ranges from all sorts of potential risks. And I will tell you, the thing I still worry about the most is frankly one of our participants getting hit by a car, much more so than a lot of the infectious diseases, but I still worry about those. And so we take a lot of precautions. We have a terrific team. I'll first say we've got a security team that helps us with security when we're both on and off campus. We have deep understanding of the United Kingdom and how to travel and get around there as well. So we're fortunate for that. Everybody that comes on the trip, they will need to go to the travel clinic for immunizations. We also have to take anti-malarial prophylaxis and have other medications as needed in order to ensure safety. Everybody that comes does have to be vaccinated for SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19. That's a university policy, and frankly, we're quite happy because that's something we feel is quite important, that if somebody is going to travel with us, we need to take that precaution. While in both in Ghana and the United Kingdom, we have on-site clinical and medical teams that can work with us if there are any challenges. We also do international travel insurance. That includes access to emergency care wherever we happen to be, and medevac if needed. We have fortunately never needed to do that in all of the various programs we've run, although we did have a situation once where they had the medevac plane ready to hop over, and we were able to resolve that, fortunately, without that. But we have a wonderful system we work with, and a good set of resources at our disposal. We have a very experienced faculty and team that we work with. We have partners in each location as well. So not only do we have our US faculty and team members coming, but we also have our Ghanaian team that is here, many of them from Ghana, and they're part of our team that's here 24/7. All of our leaders have background checks. They have to go through training so that we ensure that that best practices are used when working with the participants, particularly because the participants are minors, and so we have those precautions in place. We again have security in the locations we stay. That's 24/7, both on campus, when we go to other locations, and we do stay at a few different locations while in Ghana, as well as where we'll stay in the United Kingdom. And then finally, we make sure that we have students go through training and orientation. We have some questions coming out, and I see the answers are coming through on the chat, but I will say everybody that comes does have to have an appointment with one of the travel clinics. The University of Utah has one. Several of the health departments, the local health departments, in Salt Lake County and the surrounding counties have travel clinics. And so there are various vaccines that are needed and other health precautions. And we can give sort of a general sense of what those are, but we will have the travel clinics give more specifics on that and leave that to them and in their with their clinical expertise. We do have to do quite a bit of testing right now. If the same standards apply, we would actually have to have 5 COVID tests from the start of the trip to the beginning. Actually, 1 when we leave the US, when we arrive in Ghana, when we leave Ghana, when we arrive in the UK, and then when we leave the UK. That has added to the cost of the trip, and that's just the reality of international travel right now. If travel restrictions and regulations change and those are no longer needed, we'll be able to reduce the price of the trip. But that is something that has been added since we did this prior to the pandemic. COVID-19 precautions, you can see just a few notes on that, but we do at times have to wear masks depending on the situation. We do work with social distancing, hand sanitation, et cetera, et cetera. The rooms we stay in are cleaned and safe, and we work on having our participants in well-ventilated areas to the extent possible. As you saw in many of the photos in the video before, we do a lot of interactions with communities, but now because of the COVID-19 precautions, we've changed that up so that the interactions we do are under COVID protocols, and we do that just to ensure not only the safety of our participants, but we want to make sure that our partners and community members that we work with are also safe.
And Professor Alder, I would just add that we did take our first trip this last fall break, our first trip after COVID-19 or mid-COVID-19. We traveled with 16 students and 3 staff and spent 10 days in Ghana. And we had all of that testing done, and everyone stayed safe and healthy and returned to the US as scheduled. So that was a great kind of marker for our program.
We always know there's risk with any international travel, and we I just want to reemphasize one more time, we take safety incredibly seriously, and so we will take those precautions that we feel are appropriate in order to ensure safety. At times, our participants may feel we've gone a little too far, but we do have pretty deep knowledge in this area and are going to take the precautions that we need in order to ensure their safety. Got a great question here. What if a participant tests positive for COVID while abroad? That is the reality of international travel as well. There's a couple of things that triggers. The first is there's always the chance that the test is a false positive. And so we would do follow-up testing as soon as a positive result came in, and we have the connections and the protocol for doing that. If somebody did test positive, there are country level requirements for what that means, and of course travel requirements for what that means. There is the risk at this time of traveling that with a positive test, it may mean needing to isolate and stay longer than anticipated in one of our sites. We have set up the capacity to do that and to make sure that we do it in a safe and comfortable place. We also have COVID-19 specific elements to our travel insurance that help us with that. As we get closer to the date of our departure, we'll be able to share details on that. That is an ever-changing target, and we would make sure that we had that shared so that there was clear understanding of the implications of that sort of a test result. But again, we've made arrangements so that if that does happen, we have comfortable, safe places for people to isolate. And then we also have access to good medical care, as well as the resources of our travel insurance for addressing anything like that during the course of our time traveling. Jill, I'll turn it to you just to talk about the course fees.
You bet. So just wanted to update everybody on the pricing for the program. We've done our research and looked at a lot of different types of high school summer programming, whether they be service trips or other types of trips. And we really feel like what we have to offer is just an amazing value. A lot of trips are, anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks. We offer almost a month of programming in multiple countries. A lot of programs also will price their programs for their fee and then say, airfare is extra and have a lot of extras. And what we've tried to do is to really include everything in that price so there's no surprises. So this price, has gone up about $1,000 from 2 years ago when we were doing programming. A lot of that has been the addition of our trip to the UK and spending some time there. And then probably about $500 of that really is the COVID testing that we have to do. So we really try to make it, we know this is an investment. We know that's a lot of money, but we want to make sure it's an amazing experience as well. So it does include your round trip airfare from Salt Lake to Africa. So we know some of you are joining from places other than Salt Lake. So just know that if you need to fly to Salt Lake to fly with our group to Africa, that would be an add-on cost. That will be round trip airfare from Accra up to Tamale, where you'll see these students in the safari jeep. We'll go spend a few days in the Mole National Park. It also includes the airfare to London, and it includes all of your accommodations. And when I say accommodations, we are very selective about where we will have students stay. We insist on places being safe, having good security. So, we could maybe come down on that price, but again, safety is the most important thing. We want our students to be comfortable if they're going to be in a foreign country, and we especially want them to be safe. So we have make sure that those accommodations meet those standards. It also includes all of your in-country transportation. So we'll be traveling together as a group on vans, on subways in the UK. So that includes all of the in-country transportation. It also includes all of the excursions. So while this is a learning, an academic program, we're going to be doing a lot of cultural exploration. And so that means going on walking safaris and jeep safaris and going to national parks, going to maybe some bead making where they have a small fee just to kind of increase their revenue. So we include all of those excursion fees. It also includes almost all of the meals. So again, that's just an amazing value. We are not going to have to be putting out more cash every day for meals. Most of them will be provided by our wonderful culinary team at Ensign. It also includes the travel insurance that we've mentioned several times for those 4 weeks, and then the COVID testing. So you'll see that as you start adding it up, it's a very inclusive fee. I would say the only thing that's in addition to this would be, we'll just jump to that. And I always put on this is our unofficial mascot, Owusu the warthog. So that would be just the optional 3 credit hours of tuition for $15. We have to say that this is just an amazing value. 3 credit hours of tuition at the University of Utah for a resident is currently about $1,900. And so through the high school university program, you can get that 3 credit hours for $15. And I've gotten some questions if that credit is transferable. Maybe your student is already making plans of where they'd like to go to college. Yes, you can transfer those credits to any university. Additionally, your student will have to pay for laundry service. We don't have machines for them to self-serve. and Dr. Alder can go into some reasons why that's really important. It's usually about $1 per item to have laundry service. It's not very expensive, so that's not included. And then souvenirs. You know, students always want to buy beads and gifts for to remember their time in Africa, to buy gifts for their families and friends. So any souvenirs. And then additionally, it would be your visa application fee, which is $60, and then 2 passport photos, which is about $15. And we will walk you through the entire visa application process. So we will help you every step of the way, but that fee will need to be covered by you. And additionally, there's been some questions about immunizations. You'll have to pay for that travel clinic visit for them to review any immunizations you need to have, make sure that you have medications such as anti-malaria, anti-diarrhea, just so you're safe while you're traveling. And then the only other meals is probably just when you're traveling by plane, you'll need to just make sure that you budgeted for some meals while we're traveling, and then maybe about 1 meal a week in Ghana while we're traveling. And then in England, students will have a little bit more freedom to start, go to some different places. Breakfast will be included, but they'll need to do lunch and dinner on their own. But after Professor Alder has spent a good 2 years at the University of Oxford, he assures me there are very reasonable options in Oxford. Anything else you would like to add, Professor Alder?
No, Jill mentioned the laundry service. There's a wonderful little fly here called a bot fly that likes to lay eggs on wet laundry, and those eggs are activated when people put the clothes on after they've air dried, and you can get a little friend that comes home with you. And so we work to avoid that. That's why our laundry service is really important, although it's quite inexpensive. And as we get closer, we can give some estimates on what these additional costs will be, but we try to keep those likewise quite low. There was a question about scholarships, and so we don't currently have scholarships with this program, and so as far as I know, and we actually have worked pretty closely with university scholarships. Those tend to be for the college students, and I'm not aware of a high school scholarship program for this type of experience at this time.
We do host this information session before Thanksgiving and before Christmas, and just tell students, if you're visiting with aunts and uncles or grandparents, maybe instead of gifts this year or birthday gifts, that maybe you ask them to contribute to this amazing learning experience. So this is a good time to have those conversations.
The question is this an annual trip as well? And yes, so as long as the world behaves itself, it is intended to be an annual trip, and it's through the Eccles Global program at the David Eccles School of Business that we're offering this, but it is meant to be annual, and we frankly were shut down for 2 years because of the pandemic, and we're sad to have to do that, but we're excited to be back up and running, and are quite confident, unless something very surprising happens between now and when we're scheduled to depart, that this will go forward and be a terrific experience. Jill, I'm going to let you take this also and please listen to this, because it's quite important that you listen to these details. Whenever we have difficulties with people participating from a sort of logistics point, this tends to be where the troubles arise. So Jill, I'll have you cover passports and visas.
Yeah. If your student is really excited about this opportunity and wants to apply, I would say the first thing you do is go and find their passport and pull it out and check the expiration date. Things have been very delayed renewing passports. So if you do need to renew your passport, I would suggest that you do that probably this week. And due to visa requirements for Ghana, your passport has to be valid for 3 months, for 6 months after travel. So when you're checking that passport, expiration date, make sure that it is valid through January 1st of 2023. So also make sure that you have at least 3 blank pages. We actually have to send your passport to the embassy, the Ghana embassy in Washington, DC. So you need, and then they'll put a sticker in that. So you need to have at least 3 blank
It's
pages.
me. I can't hardly hear.
Oh,
Put yourself on mute, fool.
oh, someone's speaking. Can you just mute your? Thank you. So yeah, that's about passports. Additionally, in March, we'll be submitting those visa applications. We will need to physically take your passport. And so, you have to really plan for not any travel during that time when we have your passport, when your visa is being processed. So that could interfere with spring break, depending on the timing. So just wanted you to be aware of that. You all will have to have 2 passport size photos to go in with that visa. And then you'll also have to send in your yellow fever immunization card that you'll get through the travel clinic. So we just wanted to make sure that people know what they need to do now. And that most important thing is to start getting that passport renewed if it's not going to be valid through January 1st of 2023. Anything else you'd like to ask? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just throw in a note as well. The tightening of restrictions can sometimes happen overnight. So if the participant hasn't had their COVID vaccination, it's entirely within the realm of possibility that we may have to also include the COVID-19 vaccination card as well. So please also plan on getting that in place in advance in case that occurs. That just is it's a changing target, and sometimes the changes happen very quickly. So we encourage you to have them get vaccinated early if they're not already there, and make sure we have that card in case we find that we have to include that. We have found in the past that the visa requirements for countries like Ghana do change, and sometimes without notice. So we just always try to anticipate any possible requirement that we're going to need to meet.
All right, so just a little bit about the timeline. We're almost finished up here. So our application is now on our website, and you can start filling that out now. It is a really brief application. We'll get to more forms, more information after you've been accepted to the program. So our priority deadline is January 1st, but we will also have rolling admission. So what that means is throughout December, we'll be checking applications, and if students meet our requirements, we will start admitting students as soon as December, as soon as you apply. We are having a lot of interest for this program, and we're so excited, but that might mean that we need to put people on wait lists. So I would just recommend, if you're thinking about this program, I would apply early. Our final deadline is February 1st, and there is no application fee to apply. So it should only take 5 or 10 minutes of your time. Your student will need to just complete a short essay about how this trip would contribute to their academic and personal goals. So they could be working on that. And then fees. So we have an initial deposit of $500 after you've been accepted. And we would ask that you pay that by the 15th or of January or February, depending on which cycle you're being admitted to, and that is a non-refundable deposit. And we do have a couple of payment plans. You can just pay the whole fee, your deposit, and then pay the whole fee at once, or you can split that over in a couple payments. So, but final payment is due by March 15th. We'll start locking in our flights to Africa and start making all of our arrangements. So that is the final deadline for fees. And then moving forward, we'll have a pre-departure orientation in March. And that's where we'll really go into detail about what you need to do at the travel clinic, and then what we need you to do to apply for your visa to enter Ghana. And then, as we said before, we make sure that our students are really prepared for this trip, that they know what to expect. So we'll have a very comprehensive orientation for parents, guardians, and students in May to really cover all of those logistics, packing list, how we're going to communicate, safety, travel expectations, all of those things. So that's a little bit about the timeline moving forward. Do we have a couple more questions in the chat? Oh, and we've got that. So the application is in the chat. You can also go to our website, the Eccles link /BHP-HS, and you'll see the application link right there. I also encourage you to follow us on Instagram. We'll have all kinds of updates for all of our programs. You can go see past programs, some highlights from our fall trip. And so anything else you'd like to add, Professor Olver?
No, I think we're just very excited. We think it's going to be a terrific year, and really appreciate your participation in this information session tonight. And please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. We can also, if there are any questions, we can take questions this evening. If you've been able to get something in the chat. A few that are coming through. Do we typically have high school freshmen on this trip? No, we've found that the optimal time for students to participate is typically, I think the best time is actually between junior and senior years. Perhaps the second best is sophomore to junior years in high school. And we want students to be mature enough that they understand and appreciate what they're doing, and that they'll be able to enjoy the experience while being away from home. So that's why we aim for just that little older age group. We also find that if they do this, in particular between their junior and senior year, then a lot of the essays they need to write for college applications, as well as getting letters of recommendation from our team, and of course we have some notable professors that can write letters, and our team leaders can write letters depending on the needs of the applicants. But it becomes really worthwhile to do that. And again, because it's an annual trip, if somebody has a freshman, maybe waiting a year might be best, at least as our experience has shown. But happy to visit with you offline if you have questions or thoughts about that. The selection criteria. How do we select? Well, we want to do two things. It's a combination of kind of when people get their applications in, and we just want to make sure that the students who are applying have given some thought to what they are going to be doing. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and a lot of money that goes into the students participating. We want to make sure there's a good fit with the program. We want to make sure that the student who's applying has thought about why they're going, that they have a reasonable perspective on what they will be doing, and those really are our two criteria that we use. And again, questions on that, please feel free to reach out to us if there's anything more specific. We try to get and have always had a pretty broad group of participants. One of the things that international travel like this does is it brings together a group that otherwise would not be brought together. And what starts out as a fairly odd combination of individuals by the end of the trip has without exception become a group that appreciates the other participants, that gets along. And we find that students who participate on these trips stay in contact, most or many of them, for years and years and years after they've done it. So that's one of the niceties, along with what they'll learn otherwise in the program. How many students are going to be accepted? So yeah, so that's a great question. We're shooting for about 25 for this summer trip. We would love to take more. Right now, with all of the restrictions and all of the things we have to work with, and in particular, our ability to move throughout Ghana and through Oxford, means that we have to limit it to that number of students. We are trying to expand our capacity across all of our programs. This year, we'll probably have quadruple the number of students participating in summer programs that we've had in the past. But it is getting higher and higher in demand now, and our sense is that there's a lot of pent-up demand after a couple of years without being able to offer this sort of experience. Students who are seniors are welcome to participate. If it's between their senior year and going to the university, we can also look at other options for them as well, but they would be absolutely welcome to participate in this program. When will the passports be sent to the Ghana embassy? So I think we're looking at June. Is that right, Jill?
We depart in June, so I would say we'd be
I'm
sending.
sorry, March. Yeah.
So we'll
maybe before June. I'm gonna call the 2 a.m. Mess up on
you
that
get the
one.
card. Yep, you get the pass.
2 a.m. card, yeah.
So I'd say that takes about 4 weeks to get the visas turned around. So I would say we'll start that process in early March, maybe send them in about mid-March so we get them back mid-April, just so there's not any issues. If you have any issues with other international travel, please let us know, and we can work with you maybe to maybe send that the first part of April if that helps you out. But we can definitely work with that. But they will have your passport for a good 4 weeks.
Wonderful. Any other questions? And please, if you'd like, feel free you can voice those questions, or you can raise your Zoom hand and we'll call on you. And hopefully we've covered many of the questions you might have had. Well, maybe just in closing then, again, another thank you for your participation this evening. A huge thanks to Jill and the rest of our team. We have a wonderful group that will be hosting this experience. We think it is going to truly be a world-class experience and an absolutely exceptional opportunity for those that are able to participate. We want to do our best to make this something that is accessible, but also know that we are constrained by some of the realities of international travel. But it's going to be an exceptional year. We've had the wonderful opportunity of being entrusted with students for now over a few decades, and we believe this is going to be even better than what we've been able to do before. We think the Oxford edition, besides the work that is going on here in Ghana, just will be well received, and I think the students will have an incredible experience. So thank you so much. Jill has listed her email in the chat. So please feel free, go to our website. As she mentioned, look at Instagram. Please reach out to her or any of our team on via email or otherwise. And we hope to see many, if not all, of your children participating on this program. So thank you very much, and look forward to further interactions. Jill, I'll give you the final words for any last comments.
Oh, just wanted to let everybody know we will send out an email with additional information, more specifics, things we've covered this evening. So if you have any questions after that, let us know. And please, share this information with friends, family, colleagues, anyone who you think would like to participate with us and enjoy a great time in Africa and the UK this coming summer. So thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you and good night.
Bye-bye.